My name is YG Nyghtstorm, and I'm running for U.S. Congress in the 7th District of Georgia. But before all that, I'm a dad. I'm a proud father of 7 children and 1 grandbaby, and education is very important to me. It's so important that I was actually at a recent Gwinnett County School Board meeting, and I saw something that should never, ever happen. I saw moms, 2 of them, being arrested and hauled out for the crime of not wearing a mask. Now, I know you say that's preposterous, YG. That can't be right. School board members are supposed to be partnering with parents and listening to parents' concerns and not labeling them domestic terrorists and having them arrested. And I would say, you're right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running for Congress, to continue to stand for parents and their concerns, work with state officials to protect the rights and the authority of parents. Now, I am an advocate for these 2 moms because I was actually there trying to de-escalate the issue, and I saw this travesty firsthand. So I've given them a platform to be able to speak the truth as to what has happened and why this should be important to you, because unfortunately the mainstream media have smeared them. Big surprise. But take a look at this video, listen to what they have to say, and let's engage and fight back the smart way, and send me to Congress to continue to fight for you so we can finally put an end of this foolishness. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Karen Pirkle. I am a Gwinnett County mom. I've lived in Gwinnett County most of my life, since I was 4 years old.
Hey there, my name is Brenda Stewart. I'm also a Gwinnett County mom. I have 3 kids, and I have lived here in Swanee for about 9 years.
And a mask mandate is not a law. So this whole thing, that it's not just the mask mandate anymore. For me, it's the overreach of government in my child's life.
Okay, and Brenda, all right, now you were there as well, and you actually was witnessing her being handcuffs being thrown on.
Oh, I didn't even say that.
And all that.
That was October, and I didn't even get to November yet. I'm so sorry.
But you were there at the most latest one, and when you're seeing all of this go on, I mean, how did that first make you feel? You went to assist her, but then you started had some issues yourself. So please explain.
And I actually had my mask on. I saw, I tend to be a rule follower generally. I saw Karen, what they were doing, and I felt like they were getting kind of rough, and it was a bit chaotic. There were different people doing different things, you know, kind of protesting differently, and so it was a little bit chaotic. But I saw her over there, and I decided that I was going to go film her, and I got pretty close. I mean, I was kind of, you know, like, and they definitely weren't excited to have me that close. So then they started to take her away, and they were moving pretty swiftly with her, and she kind of shouted out, "Can somebody get my phone?" or "Can somebody take my phone to my husband?" or something like that. And I looked back. I'd never met her before.
Yeah,
I looked back, and there's really nobody else around. So I was like, okay, I need to help her. I need to get her phone. And so, and I noticed they were moving the SROs were moving pretty fast with her. So I kind of went up to the security desk. They've never had metal detectors before. And I was a little apprehensive just about the anxiety overall. And so I put my purse down, said, "I'm going to grab her phone." And I kind of jogged up, got her phone, and came back. And then when I came back, you know, it's kind of a big blur now. Honestly, it runs all together, but basically all hell broke loose. The SRO pulled out my scissors and said, "You can't take these in." And so I said, okay, you know, my plan was, I'm gonna get the scissors. This is ridiculous.
Wait a minute, now hold on. What kind of scissors were these? Are they the big kind, you know, sharp kind that you cut things with? Or, I mean, can you explain what kind of scissors these were, ma'am?
Yeah, I can explain that they are TSA approved, and I took them for that very reason, meaning they are small, they are round tipped, they are not sharp, and they really don't cut much other than a little bit of paper. They are designed for toddlers or for 4 and up to use, which I think even earlier than that, they use because you can run your fingers up and across the blades and it will not cut you. Like, they are literally the safest scissors you could possibly have.
Wait a minute, hold on. So these are scissors that kindergartners use?
Or earlier.
Pre-K uses?
Correct.
And you're getting arrested for stuff that pre-K users do to cut paper and cut yarn?
Correct.
Okay, keep on going with that.
So, I just want to speak a little bit to, from my perspective, the fear that we have put, whether it's from, the president, from Biden to Merrick Garland, and all of the talk in the media that we're spinning of fear of parents, like domestic terrorists. That's why I have my shirt that says I'm a mom, not a domestic terrorist. They're really portraying people that are participating or advocating for their children as being maniacs and there's been a lot of narrative around Gwinnett County in particular to portray the parents in that manner. So the metal detectors were new. To complete the story, I had laid my purse down, went, got the phone, came back, and she said, this, you can't take the scissors. And I was like, that's ridiculous. They're kindergarten scissors. And I was like, okay. And then honestly, it's all kind of a blur, but I was hit from behind by one of the blonde officer, pushed, and I think the table was knocked around. And I think instinctively I was holding those scissors, and it was just chaos. That's the bottom line. It was chaos. I could not get my mind then, and even now I'm still struggling, but it's really kind of weird, almost like slow-mo, when I try to get my mind around what was happening and why. What is going on?
Arrested for those scissors. Arrested for kindergarten scissors.
Yes, and I'm going through a lot of my feelings, but basically after this lady, and this is not hyperbole, this is a true statement, one of the SROs yelled, "Drop the scissors!" And I did. and then they shoved me up against the wall and cuffed me tightly, and this all happened in a process. I mean, in my mind, it's kind of jumbled, but yeah, so they were very rough. They were aggressive. They were tight. I found out later they put the handcuffs on backwards. So it was a mess.
So let's talk more about, so once both you ladies were in the back and separated from the group, and you had the handcuffs on, I mean, how long did the handcuffs stay on you guys?
Well, we were in that room for about, an hour?
Hour and 15 maybe.
And then we went to the jail. And we sat at the jail for about 20 minutes, I think we said.
Yeah, 20, 30. So almost 2 hours in total.
2 hours in
from
total.
Driving, from, having them placed, sitting in the conference room. And we were just sitting there, really. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. I think Karen had a little more insight. But I literally had no idea what was going on. What are we doing? Am I going to be, taken in? Are they just going to come talk to me? Or are they going to come explain? And they never did. There were 2 SROs in there that were just trying to do their job. They're kind of quiet, and, they tried to help where they could. They
made sure we got water because we were asking for water.
Correct. That we had
to have a waterfall. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, poured
into our mouth.
So they lifted up, we leaned back and open mouth, and they poured it into her mouth, which was very considerate of them to do that. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they perceived that we were such a threat that the cuffs could not be removed. We were in a room with one exit, mm-hmm. multiple SROs. We had gone through metal detectors, and we had been patted down. So obviously we were no danger. We were not putting up a fight. We were not resisting.
I didn't even make it through the metal detectors. They got me before then.
Okay, well, I went through twice.
Yeah, you went through twice.
And that's an important detail. Okay, Karen. So you didn't even make it through the metal detectors before you were, before they put some attention on you.
Right.
I would say.
So what happened was Jorge Gomez with the school board. Uh-huh. He and I had been conversing back and forth, and he sent me a letter saying you're in violation of this and this statute, one statute, which is the criminal statute of Georgia, which
from the previous account,
October.
Okay, when you didn't have a mask on.
That is correct.
And that's the whole thing, because you did not have a mask on.
That's correct.
And you could not speak your piece as far as wanting to talk about what was the issues with your children being sick. But before you can even do that, now you're being kicked out over your mask. So I just want to make sure we're following. So now you're back to express yourself and explain again what's going on, and now you're being arrested.
And this is all while our board members and the superintendent are going places like galas that are very crowded indoors, maskless.
Yeah, I think that was a big story on local news and on social media when Dr. Calvin Watts, he brought in, they had him for a gala. They were all celebrating. There was hundreds of people there. And a lot of these folks, including the board members, did not have masks on. This is just a fact. This isn't politics. This is just a fact. And most people were saying on a lot of different sides that they're not showing true leadership, that this is hypocrisy. So if you guys can enjoy life maskless, and now you're having moms arrested because they're maskless, then that sends a very, very poor message to the community, because they're supposed to be partnering with parents, not considering parents as therapy or terrorists and getting you arrested.
Exactly. But I never got the information from them that I was in violation of a school board law or statute regarding the school board. I was just given a statute that I was criminally trespassed, and I could be arrested. I will be arrested for 16-7-20, I think is what it is. I'm not quite sure.
But,
anyway,
I really want to revisit that with your kids, though. And I think you put out that they were getting sick, and this is your child, and you're trying to express this to the school board, and they haven't listened. I mean, as far as what you've been saying. So I need for you to explain that a little bit more, because some people do not understand why you were so persistent. So you need to explain why, if something's going on with your child and these masks.
Okay. When the mask first started last year, when we were doing virtual learning and everything, because she has, and she's going to kill me because I just said her name, but she has a medical condition that she needs to have that school setting. Okay, she's not going to, she cannot concentrate enough at home to do what she needs to do. So I kept her home at the very end, and I sent her back this year because they said we weren't going to have masks. Well, it's like 2 weeks before school, all of a sudden they said, nope, we're changing. You're going to have masks. So I sent her back to school, and every day she would come home with a headache. Every single day. And I said, take your mask off. You're allowed mask breaks. No, Mom, I can't. The teachers get mad at me. They will not let me take my mask off.
Wait a minute. I need for you to say that one more time. So I know they were advertising saying they would have different mask breaks for the children to be able to take them off.
They do not.
But your child said that the teachers was not allowing them to take the mask off.
Right.
Okay.
No, except for at lunch. They could take it off at lunch, and that was it.
But it was supposed to be separate. You have a lunchtime, and then you have mask breaks.
And then you have mask breaks. They never had mask breaks at her school. Never. And so that's why I was speaking to them about this situation. And what spurred me on to go Thursday night, where I had the chance or the whatever to be arrested, I went ahead and went because I went to pick up my daughter. I went in maskless at her school like I do every single time. Every single time they say, it's our policy that you wear a mask. I said, but it's not the law. And so if you'll just get my child. Well, this time the receptionist said, if you don't put a mask on, I am not calling your child out.
Wait a minute, what?
You heard me.
What?
Is she surrounded by plastic?
No, she's not surrounded by plastic.
Wait a minute. I want to make I want to make sure we all hear this correct. So what the receptionist said, what you're saying is that this is your child,
my child,
that you're coming to pick up. And so the receptionist is saying, if you do not have a mask on, they would not release your child to you, the parent.
You are correct. That is exactly what you're hearing. And I said, you can't do that. That's my child. I got loud, not so loud that you would think that I was going to be a threat to her, but I wanted everybody in the lobby to hear what she said. So I said very clearly, So you're telling me that you're not going to get my child because I'm not wearing a mask? Now, keep in mind, I go in, I sign the paperwork, and I go right back out to my car. I do not linger in the lobby. I don't want to upset anybody more than necessary, but it's my mouth, my body, my choice, and I'm fed up. I am so frustrated, and I am so fed up with these people.
Well, and I think that's important to note that these are not like moms or parents who don't know what's going on at all. We do our research. I do not speak on anything without researching it deeply. I know
Correct.
there's only 2 randomized controlled trials for masking, the efficacy of masking. One is in Bangladesh, one was a Danish study. Both of them showed very little efficacy for cloth masks. So we know that they're wearing all of the, the masks all day. That the benefit, you're really trying to weigh out risk versus, risk versus benefit. What is the benefit of 10% at the most of filtration of those germs versus literally being all day breathing in, the carbon dioxide, and also socialization, not being able to see.
It's a mental health issue too.
It is a mental health issue.
It
is,
issue.
And that's something we're seeing a lot of.
Well, how do you ladies feel that even the manufacturers on the back of their products are stating, in most cases, these masks are ineffective to keep out viruses?
Right.
Okay, and they're saying that on the back of their packaging. But I want to revisit something else now.
I'm going to say real quick, it's a psychology thing. That's what it is. If you have the mask on, you can't transmit the germs. Where the mask box says, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Okay, and something else happened with you, Brenda. Can you go into that of what has happened as a result of your unfortunate arrest?
Yeah, so I will say a couple things. I said this already, but I was cuffed tightly behind my back with the handcuffs we found out later were backwards because the sheriff's office had a hard time getting them off. But they also were very rough. I have not only a very sore shoulder and bruises on my arm, but I think pinched a nerve. I've got my thumb is numb, and I told them that at the jail that evening. I said, and we talked about this, and she said, it's probably a pinched nerve and it'll go away. And so I ended up going to the doctor today because it has not gone away, and it's very concerning. Again, my shoulder's still sore. So I ended up getting an injection for steroids, hoping that will reduce the inflammation. But I want to speak to something that's really, to me, more painful than that. Channel 2 came banging on my door on Friday. My husband was out of town. My young daughter was here with me. I was in my room for a few minutes, and she ran in and said, "Mom, there are men at the front door with a big camera." I was like, "Get up here." And so the men, which was Channel 2, they continued to persist, ring and knock. And so I pulled myself together, went outside and talked to them. And that's just an entirely different issue. But then when my kids came home later, my daughter told her brother and sister what happened, and my daughter has been very afraid. She was very concerned how they knew our address, which is easy to get, and most of us know that. But she
It's on the warrant too. Anybody?
correct, yes, yeah. But it really did psychological harm to her in the sense that she was like, "Are more people coming?" And I said, "No, I don't think. I think it'll calm down. I don't think anyone else will come." And then that evening, it was probably about 12:30 in the evening, she came and got me up and said, "Mom, I heard a door close. I think somebody's in the house." "No one's in the house." I said her name. "No one's in the house. Let me, and she said, "Mom, I heard it. I think someone's here." And I said, "I will go check and make sure. We've got the alarm on, but it will, it'll be fine." So I went and checked and came back and told her it'd be okay, left her door open, left my door open. But it has impacted us on so many greater levels, from having your picture thrown out there on the front page of newspapers and then on TV as well. I was saying earlier, like, this has harmed our reputation. They have portrayed, us differently, but for me, as a crazy psychotic woman who lunged for these scissors to try to get them back, and that's not what happened. But I did not do anything. My behavior did not justify the consequences, did not justify being pushed against the wall, cuffed, and sent to jail.
Okay, so we're going to bring this to a conclusion because I was there as well. And I did everything to de-escalate the situation. And as a witness, you guys were not acting like a bunch of terrorists. You were not. Unfortunately, the media will paint you that way because they're about sensationalizing things. They're all about clicks, even at the misfortune of the people that they're filming. And that's something that needs to change. So this is a record of you guys being able to speak the truth on things that really, really happened. But I want to also ask you one last thing. What do you want to see happen, move forward, as opposed to with the school board and these mandates? Because they're supposed to be partnering with parents to make sure that children get the best quality education, not going to war with parents, causing division. So I would like for you guys to tell me very quickly, and we can start with you, Karen. What do you want to see moving forward, and how can we make this better as a community?
Well, I think the school board needs to step up and say, you know, we may have overreacted to begin with. And overreaction is not even the right word for it. So I think that they need to step up and say, okay, hey, we're sorry this happened. We're sorry that we've put you in this position. And we want to work with you to work through this mask mandate and anything else.
It's okay to say you messed up.
It is.
We all mess up.
We all mess up. I want you to know I prayed really hard. I pray every time that I go into that school board meeting that I'm going to speak, and I'm going to speak clearly and get my point across of what it is that we need. I even prayed before I stepped foot in there on Thursday. I want you to know, to the school board, I want you to work with us. Instead of being so concerned and sitting there scanning the room for mask violations, listen. Open your ears and listen. Open your hearts and listen. And know that we are not a threat to you.
Correct. And, you know, I think listening is key, that we all need to be listening to one another and trying harder to understand the different perspectives and then working more toward the middle. You know, far right and far left, and not even just politics, I just mean extremes, is not going to do our kids any favor. All it's going to do is continue to tear the community apart and tear the system apart. And so I think it's important, you know, again, that we are all listening and hearing one another.
And not be so very divisive board right now.
People need to be treated the same.
The same,
across the board.
absolutely.
And to fight off the tag of you guys are racist. Thank you, sister. God bless you guys. Thank you. Matter of fact, here we go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Thank you.
Again, they're not racist. Okay.
We're really not. We're awesome.